And as I said, the food zombie is that feeling that you get, that undeniable urge to eat. It's the food zombie, and I've come up with the name food zombie because I feel like I would almost leave my body and eat without any regard of consequences. And yeah, I basically would just like eat into a 6-pack box of donuts without thinking about it. And then it's almost like my brain shut off. And then afterwards, I would only realize what was going on. So that's where my food zombies came from. So the first one is Anxious Annie, and she is a stress eater. So often we feel when, as I mentioned earlier, especially anxiety and overwhelm leads us to overeat because of the comfort we get from eating. So Anxious Annie gets to this point where she can be good for most of the days, and then, you know, anxiety, like deadlines will come up, or there's unexpected bills, and all of a sudden she just feels like she can't control herself around food. And that's where she feels like, oh, I can't trust myself, because she's like, oh, I'm trying to be so healthy. I can eat all these things during the week. You know, I have my meal plans planned out, but then all of a sudden, I don't know where this comes from. And often people don't even realize that they are anxious. They don't realize that they are even stressing. Like, I was in denial for many years that I had any form of anxiety or stress, because it was so part of my life. I didn't even feel it. And I felt that I needed to prove that I wasn't an anxious person, or that I wasn't a stressful person. And because I kept telling myself that, I stopped recognizing that all the stress factors were there. The constant migraines, back problems, neck problems, stomach problems, ulcers, all those signs were there. But for me, I never realized, I wouldn't admit that I had these anxieties and stresses. So that's the first one. A lot of my clients, and for me as well, late night is one of the biggest times where we start eating. So from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we have this space where we've been working all day. There's probably, not now, but you know, back in your normal routine, you've probably been fighting through traffic. You've probably fought with the kids to get home or get them to school. Then you get to work and you realize you haven't done X, Y, and Z for your presentation that starts at 9 o'clock. And this is how you've started your day. And this unfortunately carries on the whole day. We haven't realized that this is how we carry ourselves every day. But in the afternoon, especially late on the afternoon, evening time, when you're driving home, your body really needs comfort. And she really needs to get into a space where she can feel comfortable. And, you know, from all that anxiety and all that's, you know, even just sitting constantly in one place all day and literally using very little of your body can cause a massive cravings in the evenings. And this is where our willpower is no longer existing, because we have been fighting probably not eating sugar or sustaining our bodies the whole day. And by the evening, you are so exhausted. You have so much cortisol flooding through your system, which is our stress hormone. And you just go through a phase of, you know, to hell with it, I'm just going to eat. And I don't care, I'll deal with the consequences later. So late night Lizzie is a big one for so many people. So many people find themselves mindlessly eating in front of the telly late at night. Possessed Patsy, I mentioned this before as well, where you wake up in the morning thinking about food. Everything is surrounded by food. And unfortunately, this is where a lot of my clients start off, and we slowly but surely move those thoughts away from food. And it's mostly because we've put such strict rules around food that we end up thinking about food all the time. Wagon Wonder is, I think we've all been in this situation, me obviously very much, and she's a self-sabotage queen. So she plans her little diet. She goes out on a Sunday, and she buys her latest cleanse foods, her, like, I don't know, watermelon cleanse or whatever is trending at the moment. She goes and buys all the ingredients for that. But she also buys her like binge foods, because that's the last time she's eating them forever. So she'll binge on those, then she'll go on her new cleanse, and she might be good for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden she falls off the wagon because it's tea at work and someone's brought in this beautiful cake, and obviously how can she say no? She's been on this cleanse forever. She just feels so ravenous because she hasn't eaten anything, and so she caves and she has one little piece of cake. But unfortunately, the next minute she actually comes into the space where she's eaten 3 pieces of cake, and then she's like, oh well, you know, I've messed this up so badly, I might as well continue for the rest of the week and then start again on Monday. So I'd love to know how many times you've said, I'll start again tomorrow, I'll start again on Monday, because I can't, like, if I had a coin for every time that happened to me, I would be a millionaire ages ago. The last zombie that really plagues us, is what drives us to restrict a lot, is counting Cassie. And she is the one that has this unhealthy obsession with being and eating healthy all the time. You're not perfect unless you've eaten 100% your 0 calorie, like lactose free, sugar free, toxin free kind of foods. And if you do, you feel so guilty that you've actually eaten that, and you don't know how you're gonna respond. And lastly, but not least, is recovery Roxy. And this is mostly where I'm sitting now, but also my clients. And that is this is where I want you to get to. This is a space where you understand why you're having cravings and responding to them in a way that's correct, you know, because sometimes we understand cravings, but we fight them. We don't want to understand or work with them. And cravings are just signals that something is out of play. So I help my clients get to a place where they able to nourish their emotions. They're able to indulge, you know, like I just did a live today where I brought out my 2 sinful foods, which was Nutella and peanut butter. I couldn't have that in my house for years because I would finish it in one day. So really getting to a point where food no longer has a hold on you, and you have this neutral perspective to food. You're still eating because we can never stop eating, but it's not like food doesn't have a hold on you, and you no longer feel like you in food prison.